You didn't stumble into this moment by accident. Something in your life has been pushing you, stretching you, asking for your attention. Maybe it was a series of small disappointments, or a long season where you felt unheard or unseen. Maybe you spent nights trying to quiet your thoughts, or days pretending you were fine because that felt easier than explaining your pain to others. You've endured things you rarely speak about, and yet here you are, still searching for meaning, still hoping for clarity. There have been quiet battles, the kind no one else knew you were fighting, the kind that test your resilience in ways you never expected. But even in the silence of those struggles, something within you was gathering strength. You might not have recognized it at the time, but each moment of perseverance was shaping you, refining your perspective, and preparing you for a different chapter. And now, something in you senses that a shift is near, not because someone told you, and not because circumstances suddenly changed, but because your inner awareness has sharpened. You're beginning to see the truth of things, not through fear or doubt, but through calm, measured understanding. It's as if your spirit finally caught up with what your heart has known for a while. Something in your life needs to move, change, or be released. Before we go deeper, take a breath. Let your shoulders relax. Let your mind slow down. You're not watching this by coincidence. You're here because you've been reaching for clarity, and part of you is finally ready to receive it. And as you listen, allow yourself to be open, not pressured, not rushed, just open. Sometimes the most powerful changes happen when you stop forcing answers and start allowing them. You know, we rarely give ourselves credit for the intuition that has been quietly guiding us, the soft nudge that tells us when something isn't right. The sense of calm that settles when we choose a path aligned with who we truly are. That inner knowing is one of your greatest strengths, and it has been speaking to you more often than you realize. You've noticed patterns, you've watched how certain situations unfold. You've observed people reveal their true selves, not because you demanded truth, but because time has a way of letting everything show you weren't overthinking. You were seeing clearly, and now you're beginning to trust that clarity again. And before we continue, pause for just a moment. If anything in these words is resonating with you, if something in you feels seen, understood, or gently awakened, take a second to like this video or leave a comment, not for me, but for yourself. A simple action like that helps you affirm what you're feeling. It helps you anchor the insight you're experiencing so it doesn't fade the moment life gets busy again. Commenting gives your thoughts a place to land. Liking helps you acknowledge the part of you that's ready to grow. It's a small moment of clarity made real. Now, let's continue. You've carried a lot with grace, more than most people realize. And there were times when you wondered if anyone, even the people closest to you, truly understood the weight on your shoulders. You questioned whether your efforts mattered, whether your patience meant anything, whether your quiet strength was really strength at all. But here's the truth. Every challenge you endured was shaping you into someone more aware, more grounded, and more aligned with who you're meant to become. The heaviness you felt wasn't a sign of failure. It was a sign that a part of your life had reached its limit. Something needed to shift, because you have shifted. You're stepping out of an old version of yourself, the version formed by survival, pleasing others, pushing down your own needs, or shrinking so someone else could feel comfortable. That chapter is closing, not with anger, not with bitterness, but with clarity. Because you no longer fit into the spaces that once defined you. And that's not loss, that's growth, the peace you've been sensing, the inner stillness that feels almost unfamiliar. That's your mind and spirit aligning after a long period of conflict. You're not becoming someone new. You're returning to the truest version of yourself, the one that existed beneath the layers of pain, confusion, and self-doubt. You're starting to recognize your worth again, to understand the strength in your voice, the depth of your honesty, the power of your presence. You're beginning to see that letting go isn't failure. It's choosing yourself. It's making space for a life that honors who you are rather than who you had to be to survive. And that's why this moment matters. A new chapter doesn't begin when everything around you changes. It begins when you change. When your inner world shifts enough to reshape your outer world, and that shift is already underway. You can feel it, even if the details aren't clear yet, even if part of you feels nervous. Transformation is rarely comfortable, but it is always meaningful. You're shedding old expectations, outdated versions of yourself, and emotional burdens that were never meant to be permanent. You're stepping into a space where your choices carry more intention, where your boundaries become clearer, and where your intuition leads instead of fear. You might notice your priorities changing. Things that once held your attention feel less important now. Conversations that used to drain you no longer interest you. Relationships built on unequal effort feel heavier than they should. And ambitions that came from pressure rather than passion suddenly feel hollow. This isn't confusion. This is alignment. What you're experiencing is a realignment of your spirit with your truth. And as you grow into this clarity, you'll find that life begins to open in unexpected ways. Opportunities appear where you once saw only obstacles. Peace takes root where there used to be anxiety. You don't have to force anything. You simply allow what's meant for you to rise naturally. Soon, you'll look back and realize that the unfamiliar feelings you're experiencing right now weren't signs of breaking. They were signs of becoming. This is the part of the journey where you begin walking with quiet confidence. You speak more gently because you're no longer defending your worth. You choose more wisely because you're no longer acting from fear. You move with intention because you understand the value of your energy, and the world around you begins to respond to this new version of you. You're stepping into a season where your strength comes from stillness, your clarity from experience, and your direction from authenticity. And as you continue moving forward, remember this. You don't grow by returning to what hurt you. You grow by choosing what heals you. And when life brings moments of doubt, as it naturally will, pause and remind yourself of how far you've come. Remember how many times you thought you wouldn't make it through something. Yet here you are, stronger, wiser, more grounded, more yourself. As this chapter unfolds, stay connected to your inner awareness. Protect your peace. Listen to the quiet part of you that has always known the way, even when everything else felt uncertain, and allow yourself to step fully into the life waiting for you, a life shaped not by fear or scarcity, but by courage, clarity, and purpose. And before we close, I want to offer something important. If you feel drawn to keep growing, to keep expanding, and to keep nurturing this awareness within you, consider subscribing and sharing this video with someone who might need it. Subscribing isn't about following a channel. It's about committing to your own growth, surrounding yourself with perspectives that encourage your journey, and staying connected to reminders that help you stay centered. Sharing gives someone else the same moment of clarity you're feeling now. It's a quiet act of kindness that could change their day or their life. And there's something powerful about knowing your growth can inspire someone else to rise too. You are entering a new space in your life, one marked by strength, honesty, and deep inner alignment. Trust yourself as you move forward. Trust the wisdom you've earned. Trust the calm you've discovered. You're not falling apart. You're unfolding. You're not losing yourself. You're returning to yourself. And the path ahead, your path, is finally starting to clear.